Good morning, everybody. I'm Eve, and I am a compulsive eater. And like you, I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Gray Sheet. I commit those meals to my sponsor. I don't eat in between no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing in my life, without exception. My abstinence date is March 25th, 1994. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I am. I see a lot of friends here, a lot of people I've known for years and years. So, you know, being abstinent for as long as I've been, there's so many. I don't know which avenue do I go, which path do I go, because there's so many stories I can tell. But I guess it's just where I was and how I got here. I started dieting when I was 13 because that was the fashion, and ever since then, I mean, I've dieted all my life until I found Gray Sheet. I mean, I was always on some sort of diet. And I really didn't have a whole lot of weight to lose. I would go up 20 pounds, go on a diet, lose that. Maybe next time gain 30 pounds, go on a diet. And it went along, for years and years and years until I got sick and tired. And I went to this weekend. It was called EST, where you were supposed to beat the things that were stopping you from having a fulfilled life. And I really thought, this business with dieting and compulsive, either I'm eating too much or I'm not eating. And it was that weekend that I found somebody came to me at the end and said, I'm going to take you to a meeting tomorrow. Monday night, she took me to an OA meeting. And it was the first time that I heard other people having the same issues with food that I was having. And, I dove right in. I got 2 sponsors. I had a step sponsor, I had a food sponsor, and for the first 30 days, I was on a Gray Sheet where I didn't have a scale, but I did the Gray Sheet for 30 days. So I don't know, I don't remember exactly how I did it because I didn't use a scale. I guess it was cups, pieces, whatever. And I was very successful. I lost a lot of weight. And then I decided that I realized that I had the allergy to sugar. That was very clear to me. But, we have kind of minds that really, you put a little thought in and it becomes a volume. I decided that maybe after this, I guess it was 4 or 5 years, that I probably didn't have that particular allergy anymore, because I read someplace where your body changes and all your cells change, because I had some sugar and it didn't create a craving. And so and then I met somebody, and I fell in love. Well, not love, I guess it was lust, because at that time I was 50. And unfortunately, it turned out that even though I've been going to a lot of AA meetings, because in OA you also go to AA meetings, I married an alcoholic. And after 5 years, one day he said something to me, because I had maintained a weight loss because, I wasn't eating. And I started eating because I was unhappy. And I guess I gained like 10 pounds. And he said something to me about, well, you are putting on weight. And I thought, wait a minute, 10 pounds? And he's talking about my putting on weight. I put on weight. I put 30 pounds on over a weekend when I went on cruise. I thought, I don't want to spend the rest of my life with this man. So Monday morning, this was a Sunday, I called an attorney, and within a month I was divorced. That's how quickly it happened. And at the same time, we had a hurricane come through Florida, 92. This was 92. And we put up shutters on the house. Well, I didn't take the shutters off the back of the house, only the front of the house. So I would go to work, come home into this cave. And I was very depressed because I was beating myself up for marrying this man who was an alcoholic, and what a failure I was. I was in a business situation that was totally chaotic, and the weight just started. I mean, I turned to the food, never mind. And what happened to me is all of a sudden I couldn't diet. I couldn't diet one day. And the weight just kept coming on and coming on. And the only other time that I went beyond, I mean, I never went beyond 160 pounds. I mean, here I was at 180 pounds, 190 pounds. And the only other time that that happened to me was when I was pregnant with my second child. And that's when I didn't weigh anything. I didn't diet or anything. And I went up to 225 pounds. And I could see that right around the corner. And I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't want to go to OA because I didn't want to hear about being fat and having serenity. And I just didn't know where it was going to go. And I never thought to turn to God, and this one morning as I was trying to find something to wear, because, it was either stained or the buttons were broken. And I just went on my knees and I said, God, please, please help me. I can't live like this. And I was an insurance agent and I had appointments. And that morning I had an appointment. And on my way back, they were blacktopping the road to my office. And I had to take a detour, and I passed this health food store. And the woman there was somebody that I knew from OA, but I never saw her that thin. And she was bubbly and excited. And I said, oh my God, what are you doing? Whatever it was, I was going to do it. I mean, it didn't matter what she was doing. And she pulls out a copy of a gray sheet. She said, it's the gray sheet. I said, the gray sheet? I kind of remembered that, but what, she was so excited about it. So she gave me the phone number of somebody to call from out of town. I got to my office. It was January 19th, 1994. It was a Tuesday. I got to my office. It was about 11 o'clock. I called this woman, and basically she took me through the first step. I didn't think I had a problem with food. I thought, I had this allergy, which obviously, I wasn't eating sugar, but I was still gaining weight and still having compulsive. And she explained to me very clearly that my body was like a distillery, and whatever you could make alcohol out of in my body, it created a craving. And that was she made it so crystal clear, because I realized that I wasn't ingesting that much sugar, but I was ingesting a lot of carbs. So I had my first gray sheet meal for lunch that day. It was a really weird meal because I had to go back to that health food store, and she helped me, and we put together a lunch. And then it was arranged that I would call my sponsor long distance at 7 o'clock every morning. And so Wednesday morning, I called her and gave her my food. And all I had was a Post-it scale. She said that was fine. And you couldn't find digital scales like you do today. I mean, you can get them at a drugstore. I didn't even know where to begin to find a digital scale. So, and then Thursday, and I said, by the way, tomorrow, which was Thursday, I'm not going to be able to do this tomorrow because I'm going to a lunch with 200 of my peers at a hotel. And I'm certainly not going to pull out a scale on a table with 10 other people. And she said, Eve, we do this everywhere. Weddings, funerals, banquets, business meetings, we weigh and measure. So if you want to have what I have, this is what you have to do. And she was very clear what I should do. I called the hotel, found out what they were going to have, and I did it. I barely slept that night. I was so nervous about the whole thing, but I did it and I got it. And I want to tell you, I have never felt so great as when I got through that lunch and I was abstinent. I wanted to do cartwheels down the road because I never put myself first. I was always last I never took care of myself. It was the first time. And that was one of the things that my sponsor really stressed, is that this is a program where you have to take care of yourself. She made it very clear, on the airline, they say, put the mask on you first. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't do anything for anybody else. So I came first, which was a new concept for me. But she said, it's a we program, is that you're not doing it by yourself. And I had to make 3 phone calls because we didn't have a meeting locally, because the other gal who introduced me, she didn't have 90 days and she lost for whatever. Anyway, she was starting to count days again. And so I had to call 3 people. And the good news is, at that time, there weren't any voicemail or anything like that. So either the phone was busy, nobody was there, or they answered the phone. So that was, really great, because I had to form a community. I just couldn't rely on my sponsor and this one other person. So I had a little book, and I had all these phone numbers, because she didn't want to hear my problems. She wasn't going to be able to be there, 24 hours a day. And I made phone calls, and there are still people that I made phone calls to today that I still, are abstinent. And my life changed. My life
5 more
changed.
minutes.
Oh my God. That goes so fast. Sorry. So I can't begin to tell you how much my life has changed. I was 55 years old when I came into GreySheet. My sponsor was 70 years old. She was 15 years older than me. And this was the wisest woman there was. There wasn't anything that I had to go through that she didn't either help me or send me in the right direction. I want to tell you what a gift this woman gave me. I called her when I was 79 years old, and we were talking about, and she said, Eve, I was talking, because by now she's in her 90s, right? She said, I was talking to my husband last night. We decided that the 80s were our best years. Even at this time, she gave me this gift. She knew I was on the brink of turning 80, and she told me that this was going to be the best years of my life. And you know what? She was right. And I don't know if they're the best years, but they're certainly good years. And it's only because I weigh and measure 3 meals a day that I have a life. I'm 84 years old. I just had a birthday 2 weeks ago. And my week consists of, I do yoga 4 times a week. I work out at the Y 2 times a week with weights. I do aerobics. I do at least 4 miles a day. I could never do that when I was 55 years old. Really and truly, if you want to age gracefully, GreySheet is the place to be. Because the thing that I learned is, you read anything on aging, the first thing they tell you is nutrition. The second is exercise and sleep. I take care of all those things. And why? Because I have a clear head. It's not fogged up with all kinds of thoughts. Should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Blah, 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 blah. Because I know exactly. Sometimes I'm in my kitchen all by myself, and that scale will go boom, a little bit higher. And I think to myself, nobody's here. But when I finally get it at that 0, it's like, oh, I'm safe. I'm safe. This is exactly, I wouldn't even know what to do if I wasn't doing GreySheet. I had a dog, I was weighing his food too. It's just part of my life. And I can't begin to tell you what a life I have. I love it. I have 3 wonderful grandchildren. I live in an apartment in my daughter's house, which everybody says it's a dream come true. I don't have any wants. I have a life that I'm content. Happiness can come and go, all that. But contentment is someplace where I am. This is nice, even keel. And all I have to do is weigh and measure 3 meals a day, go to some meetings, because I have to hear the story. Right now, I'm in an AWOL. I've been in a group doing listening to God for like 4 years, the same group. I need to hear, because as it was told in the very beginning, I don't do this by myself. I can't do this by myself. I need all of you. These rooms have some of the smartest people in the world. The things that I hear on these meetings are just wonderful. And I love all of you, and thank you for letting me share.